And we are back. Yes, sir. We are back with Legacy Builders Podcast with your host, Jahiem President. And before we get into our conversation, first, I would like for you to like, share. Come on, say it. Like, share. We are on YouTube at Jahiem President TV. We are on Apple Podcasts at Legacy Builders Podcast. And we are on Amazon Music, and we are also on Spotify at Legacy Builders Podcast. So I need you. I need you to share because guess what? There is power behind your share. And I do believe that this is a movement that is going to just grow, and we need you to help us grow. So like and share, and also just share and like and share, and also comment on the YouTube. Also, just DM me, text me, whatever you want to do when you are watching this live, because I believe this live is, or this YouTube, and also this thing is going to help you. So, we thank you for all the love on our special episode, Rest and Recover. So if you have not watched that episode, is on all of our streaming platforms, but I believe that was just like a special episode. We didn't do no episodes in a month. And so I wanted to just kind of let y'all know that we are still here, and we are still thriving, and we are still working out the kinks on all of this technology. All of this new thing is new to us, and it's new to me. And we're going to conquer this thing. I promise you. Each thing is going to get better. But today, I really want to talk about when we left off on the last episode of season 3, we talked about dealing with trauma. And first, we had to identify our trauma. We had to identify what was plaguing us from going to the next level. And yesterday, I'm also a teacher, so we had PD yesterday, professional development, and he was talking about trauma, and he said something so profound. He said trauma can start at birth. Trauma can start at birth, because it could be the trauma of your mother. It could be the trauma that your mother is holding, and it could be the trauma of your family life. So trauma has no age. But and he was talking about it may take longer for the effects of trauma to happen. So you may deal with something and feel like you're healed from it, but in reality, you still have trauma, and you still have things that you have to continue to work on. And so that just got me, just got my brain kind of rack up, because I was like, how many of us are still dealing with trauma? How many of us are still holding on to relationships, holding on to friendships, holding on to things that were so traumatic to us that we were not able to heal from it, and we were not able to really grow from it? And you know what, there's a danger in trauma, because trauma will have you doing some crazy things. Yeah, trauma will have you looking and acting and getting mad at people and things, and trauma can trigger you at any time. And so what that episode was talking about was identifying your trauma. You may be in a relationship right now, or you may be in a lack of a relationship right now, because you have not identified your trauma. You have not identified the thing, the people, the places that have hurt you, and that have let a lasting effect. So he talked about this. He said there's 3 E's. There's the effect, there's the experience, and then there's also the outcome. So I may have got that wrong. But the 3 E's, and it was so powerful, because I started to think about the traumatic experiences in my life that I have let hold me down for years, and not believe that I could do it. So one thing was, just self-doubt. And so we talked about that. And I talked about the power of self-trust. So I had some self-doubt. There were some times where I didn't think that this podcast, or that me doing all of this stuff, or that me doing all of these Saturday's declaration, me doing all of these different things was helpful. But then I had to realize, just because the people you wanted to support you are not supporting, don't mean the people you don't know that are supporting you. And maybe that's the problem. We're trying to put so much hope and so much trust into one people and to one thing, when we realize the people and the places that are waiting on us is waiting beyond our step. And so today I want to talk about, how do we move forward? Because we cannot continue to live in this state of isolation, in this state of people, of us not reaching our whole potential, because that is a trick of the enemy. The enemy wants to keep you isolated, because if he keeps you isolated, you're not connected to the people that'll speak life into you. How many of us, we that's our first thing? And for me, that's one of my things. Like, when I feel like I'm getting overwhelmed, when I feel like I'm getting too if I feel like I'm getting too, overwhelmed, and I feel like I'm not producing, my thing is isolation. And so I'll get so isolated that I won't be able to produce what I need to produce. Because sometimes people say, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. But sometimes isolation will stop you and will produce procrastination. Come on, you can type it in the comments. How many of us, we have in our minds, we have tricked ourselves to think that we are in isolations, but in fact, we are in procrastination? Because you should have been started that dream a long time ago. You should have been started that business a long time ago. You should have been this big, but because you have put yourself in an isolated state because of trauma, now you are not walking into your full potential, and you're not dealing with the stuff. So you have shunned away the hurt. You have tried to mask the hurt. And in your masking the hurt, you're tearing down the dreams that God has placed inside of you. Because you have to deal with that traumatic experience. You had to deal with that traumatic person. You have to deal with, and I'm not saying you have to forgive them, but you have to deal it to where a way where you can move on and you can produce something better and something greater than you can ever imagine. Because I tell you this, and I'm gonna say this all the time on Legacy Builders podcast, you have something that the world needs. And how can we get it if you're still trapped into your own mind? How can we get how can the world get what they need when you are still trapped because you're dealing with stuff that happened years ago? And so sometimes that is a real trick, because we'll start to think that we are really healed, and it takes one thing to trigger us. And so that person who thinks that they're healed, they're not healed. You've just been masking. And how many of us have been masking pain and saying that we are healed? How many of us have been masking hurt and say that how many of us have been masking this and masking that and saying that no, 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 it's time out for um um expecting a pity party, because I've learned in this last, oh no, in the beginning of the year, I learned that pity parties don't get you nowhere. It just attracts people that don't need, that they attracts other people that are still in stagnation, still in places, and still in this isolated state. And so they think that they're healing when they see you, and y'all joining y'all pity party, when in fact y'all are both bringing each other down, because y'all both are not healed. And since you're both not healed, now you're end up picking the pieces off of each other, instead of really saying, okay, yeah, we need to get out of sight. We need to get out of this. And I'm thankful for the friends and for the families and for the people who said, Jaheim, you have to move on and you have to walk in purpose. I'm so excited. I'm thankful for the people who said, okay, when is the new episode coming? I said, what? So you listen to this? Yeah, they said Jaheim, when is doing? They said, okay, how are you building? Because and that's the beauty of Legacy Builders podcast is because I want to be around builders in this season. I want to be around people who have their blueprint and who are now working in movement and who are saying, I'm not going to use that as an excuse because, oh, here it is. Uh-oh. Some of us use trauma as an excuse not to get up. Some of us use trauma as an excuse not to walk into our think that our into our purpose, into what God has allowed us to grace. Because there's a grace on you that God has allowed you to build in a certain area. And how are you doing him a service? How are you doing it a disservice if you're not building and if you're not doing what God has told you to do? And so now we get into a state of disobedience because we are running from the very thing that he's telling us he needs us to do. And I'm gonna tell you this. I'm talking out of experience. There have been seasons and very dark seasons where I just did not want to be healed because I had that mentality, why me? And then I had to be reminded, why not you? When I heard that, I said, what? So, yeah, why not you? What makes you so special that you cannot deal with different things? What makes you so special that you can walk through life and not have to deal with certain things? What makes you so special? And when I started to realize that, and when I started to really go in depth in that, I said, yeah, why not me? Because it's another thing that I have to conquer, and I want to and I see some of y'all pull it on me, but Jahiem, I'm tired of fighting. I know, Jahiem, I've been fighting all my life. I know, and you may have to fight again. I'm talking about no fist fight, but I know y'all. I know we got some hitters out there, but no, you may have to fight again. But don't you dare think that your fighting will be in vain. Don't you dare think that your fighting will stop you. Don't you dare think that because this and because that you're not gonna make it. You're gonna make it. You're gonna make it even with tears in your eyes. Mm. You're gonna make it even if your circle doesn't look like the circle you thought it was gonna be. You're going to make it even when you feel all alone. But can I tell you this? There is a circle, there is a team, there is a place destined, there's an environment waiting on you. But you have to deal with the muddy waters. You have to deal with the muddy waters. How can you how can you experience the vastness and the deepness of your dreams and the deepness of where you're going to go if you are scared to even walk into the shallow waters? How do you want to go into the deep waters if you don't even want to walk in the shallow waters? How do you want to do that if you're not even ready to face your fears? How? I want to know. Because I wouldn't be here doing this podcast if it wasn't for some seasons where I had to get in the water. I had to get dirty. I had to get dirty to clean myself up again. How weird does that sound? But I had to get dirty. I had to embrace the thing that I was scared of the most, and that was the inner me. Because the inner me is your biggest enemy. Yeah, it is. Not your haters, not your doubters, not the people you thinking about or the people you think that are talking about you. No, your inner person, the inner person, the person you look in the mirror every day. That's your biggest enemy, because you can put up a front for other people. You can put up a front for other things, but you can't put up a front for yourself. I know. I tried many times. I tried putting up a front. I said, putting up a front. I'm saying, no. You had to. I had to say. I had to look in, and it was so crazy. I was driving, and I just started crying. And I just started crying because I'm like, I don't want to be in this mindset anymore. I don't want to be in this depressing state anymore. Hey, can I tell you this? Okay, so the ending of last year was so brutal. I had, started my new job, getting into that. I didn't have no furniture in my apartment. So I was sleeping on the air mattress. My living room where I recorded this podcast was bare. I only had this table, and I had a TV. All my TVs were on the ground. So I had this big TV on the ground. I had this big TV in my room on the ground, clothes in bins, and I just felt so displaced because it wasn't adding up. It wasn't adding up. On top of that, I was still grieving my grandfather, but it wasn't adding up. And I was like, oh my God. Like, I was just like, is this what my life is like? Is this what it's supposed to be? And then, at the end of the new year, the holiday was different this year, just different family things. And I literally, December 31st, 2023, that whole day, I woke up. I went to my grandparents' house. They were out of town, and I just sat there the whole day, and I was just like, 2024 got to be different. 2024 is going to be different. I literally declared that day. I said, So I let myself feel. I let myself get in this pity party. But then I promise you, when the clock struck 12, January 1st, 2024, I said, enough is enough. I'm going to do something about it. And I told somebody this: when you get sick and tired of being sick and tired, you're going to do something about it. Yeah. When you are at your wits' end, when you look yourself in the mirror and say, this ain't me, and I know this ain't me, you're going to do something about it. I know you are, because that's the kind of person you are. And so today, I want this to be your launching pad that we're dealing with trauma today. If you got to go to therapy, hey, sign up therapy. If you got to get back into exercising, go sign up for the gym or go walk. If you know you have a dream, if you know you have a blueprint, if you know that you have something that is inside of you that needs to be out, let's go. It's go time. We done. No. Oh, we got. Let's see, 4 more months in this year. It's go time. It's go time. It's go time. Let this be your charge. I heard all your complaining. I heard all your pity parties. I heard that why you. I heard it. Now, 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 Sunday. It's time to get it done. It's time to roll up your sleeves, even if it costs you to change. It is go time. It's go time. What are you waiting on? You waiting on somebody to tell you that? I'm telling you, it's go time. You waiting on somebody to paint the picture? I ain't Picasso. I ain't Leonardo, but I'm gonna paint this picture. This podcast is it. It is time to start investing in you. It is time to uncover everything that has been holding you back. It is time to step into that next dimension of yourself, because that's what we're waiting on. It is time to conquer, and here it is. I hear the critics. It's not going to happen overnight, but it is going to happen. It's not going to happen overnight, but it is going to happen because it is go time. It has to be. How many times are we gonna say no? And I talked about this. I talked about it in Saturday's declaration. It is okay to reset, but here it is. I didn't add this part. It's okay to reset, but guess what? You have to do something after you do the reset, because it makes no sense to keep resetting and keep doing this and keep doing that if you continue to stay in the same place and independent. No. And once you reset, once you said, okay, it's go time. Once you said that, I need you to pick yourself up and to write the vision. See, we do a good part about writing the vision, but now it's time to make it plain. Make it plain to you. And here it is. I hear you. You could have $1 million vision, and you're gonna get there. But sometimes that's how we get tricked, and that's how we end up back into this depressed state, because we see the $1 million vision, but we are not willing enough to just say, okay, I'm gonna chip away at it. And can I tell you this? I'm a living witness. I've been chipping away at it. Because one day y'all gonna see grass behind me. Y'all gonna see me in the studio. But I know I'm gonna get there one day. But let me chip away. And in my going, I'm gonna continue to be blessed by different things. In your going, God, I love you. In your going, in your ability to brace yourself back up, to deal with those traumas and those triggers, in your going, that's how you get to your $1 million dream. Let me say that again. That sounds good to me. In your going, you that's watching me, you that's listening to me, in your going, that's when you start to chip away at that $1 million dream. At that vision that's been playing in your sleep, and that vision that's been not haunting you, but that's the vision that's been saying, come on, I need you. For that dream that you have in your life. If you want to go to NFL, NBA, if you want to get if you want to move out of where you're living at, you're going to get there. But the only way you're going to get there is by going. And how do you go? You dust yourself off. You look yourself in the mirror, eyeball to eyeball, and say, I'm not going to be triggered by that no more. I'm not going to be hurt by that no more. I'm going to deal with it. Even if I don't come out the same way I went in, but I'm going to go. Because can I tell you this? There's a blessing in your go. God, Jesus, I love God. There's something greater in your go. But how do you get there? You get there by believing and having faith enough in the vision and in the plan to start making it plain. Yep, that's it. That's it. We're dealing with trauma. We're dealing with trauma. We're dealing with things that are no longer leading us to a different place. We're dealing with trauma. I want to, before we go, I want to start shouting out different businesses and different places and people in who are also trusting in their going, and um, they're now doing something that's greater than they can ever imagine. So let's go, 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 let's go. I don't know, live recording. Oh, well, we get it done. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Oh, where is it? Oh, it's hard. Ooh, ooh. It's not live. This is live. This is live. Oh, you didn't know it was live. Well, better watch the replay. Creativity by Kayla. I want to give her a shout out. If you need anything, follow her on Facebook at Kreativity by Kayla. If you need anything, and I do say anything, if you need anything that's creative wise, shirts, t-shirts, buttons, bracelet, please, 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 please. Let church say please go listen to her, no, not listen to her, go DM her or contact her on her business phone as she gets to just help you with all your creative needs. If you got graduation come up, if you got church, choir, family reunion, anything that you're looking for, go follow her and go contact her. She does some great work for a good price, and it's gonna be better. All right, I'm getting off of here, but go listen to us at Legacy Builders Podcast, on YouTube at Jahiem President TV, and all this great stuff as we continue to building lasting impact. I'll see y'all when I see y'all.